What's up, everyone? We're back for another episode of Locked On Bucks, and today we are, as we're recording this, hours away from basketball. The Greek national team is going to be the official team of this podcast for the next, let's say, 6 weeks. So we've got Eurobasket coming up. We've got some World Cup qualifiers coming up. So I had to bring someone into the podcast that actually knows what's going on with the Greek national team. So we're going to talk all things Giannis and the rest of this Greek national team. Let's get started.
You are Locked On Bucks, your daily Milwaukee Bucks podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Bucks. I'm your host, Kane Pittman. You can see and hear me on this show 3 times a week at the moment, just through August. This is our off season, 3 times a week in August, and we'll be back to every day once September rolls around. You can also find my work over at ESPN. And alongside me today, I said we've got an expert on the Greek national team. Harris Stavrou is with us, a senior editor at Sport24, and by the way, a man that watches every Bucks game, has visited Milwaukee,
every Bucks,
knows everything that's going on with Giannis, in particular this Greek national team. And we've spoke for years on Twitter, Harris, but it's probably long overdue that you came on the show.
Hi, Kane. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. And with your Australian accent, it sounds like a great team, more than a Greek team. So that might be good. As you know, we have the Eurobasket in a couple of weeks. We have 2 more games, World Cup qualifiers before the Eurobasket. So you can imagine we are so much excited about that opportunity. And everybody is watching Giannis. Everybody is asking about Giannis. So let's do this.
All right. So as always, we thank everyone for watching and making Locked On Bucks your first listen or watch of every day. Today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. That's BetOnline, where the game starts. So, firstly, you mentioned the excitement with Greek basketball fans, and I spoke by myself. I did a solo pod about the Greek national team, and I tried to explain it through how I feel as an Australian and the pride that you have for the Australian national team. And when NBA players come back and play for Australia, it's really a similar feeling that, quite honestly, I don't think American fans can understand because there's so many NBA players. It's different when you are one of these countries that has fewer NBA players, and certainly in the case of Greece at the moment, the best basketball player in the world. So Giannis is back in Greece now, been with the team practicing for around a week. So you've been with the team, you've been around Giannis. What are you noticing from him in terms of his excitement to be there? Because we know that based on the last World Cup, he probably feels like he's got some unfinished business with this team.
Of course, yeah. I feel the same way. Giannis is not talking about medals and trophies. He's really telling everybody, let's go to the next practice, let's go on the next day, let's keep working hard, let's build good habits, as he always says when he's in Milwaukee. But Americans doesn't understand this excitement because that's different. That's different basketball. And for us, for the Greeks, Eurobasket is something really special because back in 1987, when we got the gold medal in Eurobasket, the sport bloomed in Greece. So the Eurobasket is more important than the World Cup, even more than the Olympics. And, Greeks have been waiting for 5 years because the last Eurobasket was in 2017. So 5 years is a lot of time. Having Giannis, having the best player in the world, in my opinion, should be, at least you have to target on a medal. But it's not that easy. It's not the World Cup. Every team is strong in Europe. Everybody's playing basketball nowadays. I mean, even Czech Republic is a great team. We saw that during the previous years. We saw that in the World Cup. So it will be a difficult task for Giannis. It will be a difficult task for the team. But as I told you, having the best player of the planet right now, should at least be a good sign for a medal. We didn't have any medals for the last 13 years since 2009, so this might be a good opportunity for us to grab a medal.
Yeah, it's like the Bucks in the NBA, as you know. It's like, are they going to contend? Well, yes, they're going to contend as long as Giannis is healthy, because you know that he's going to take them to some point there in the season. So, and I should mention this, if you want to follow what's going on with the Greek national team, I'm getting all my information from Harris. Follow him on Twitter, Harris_Stavrou there, because he's got Giannis quotes. He's got vision from practice. He's putting streams out for everyone so they can watch these games. So as we record this, Greece are playing Spain in a friendly, a warm-up game, exhibition game, whatever you want to call it, in a couple of hours. So we won't bother about this game because by the time everyone listens, it will already be done. But you tweeted out the schedule for what's going to be happening here for the next few weeks as I pull it up here on the screen on YouTube. So a couple of warm-ups against Spain. Then there's next week, there's games against Poland, Georgia, which is very interesting. There's a nice Bucks theme there if Sandro Mamukalashvili plays in that game, and then Turkey. But then it gets real. So this is what's been kind of lost in this, I feel, is that everyone's focusing on Eurobasket, but there is a couple of important games for World Cup qualifying, Serbia and then Belgium, but specifically that game against Serbia. We expect Giannis and Jokic are both going to play in this game in Belgrade. It's going to be it's going to be madness.
It's going to be the clash of the Titans, as I said, because, it's a World Cup qualifiers. The Serbians are 1-3 right now in the group. Greece is 3-1, so exactly that. So it's a do-or-die game for Serbia. The atmosphere will be crazy, will be mad. And having Nikola Jokic playing against Giannis Antetokounmpo on such a critical game for Serbians, especially, will be superb just days before the Eurobasket. I mean, everybody in the basketball community will watch this game. At least we'll try to watch this game. I'm counting down the days, to be honest. I'm really excited. Some nights I cannot sleep. I'm always thinking about the game in Belgrade. That's how we do that in Greece. I mean, we really love this team, and this is really a wonderful opportunity for everybody to feel attached with this team. I mean, you told that Australian team is always tough and they're always playing good. That's the same toughness Greeks have. We are a traditional basketball country, so I mean, every time Giannis is here to help, it's really different in a special occasion.
And these World Cup qualifiers, we should note, because I had someone ask, well, why would Giannis play in those World Cup qualifiers? Greece are looking good. But these results continue to carry over. And if you can play in a World Cup qualifier where Giannis is available, if you're Greece, if Giannis doesn't play, but Nikola Jokic plays, maybe that's a loss right there. And you just want to take advantage of every opportunity, because as much as Eurobasket is going to be the focus for this team right now, ensuring that they're a part of the World Cup, which is going to be next off season, is going to be really important for Greece as well.
Of course, and if you didn't have that qualifiers, you would play a friendly game. But having a real game, a real do-or-die game at least for the opponents, will be like the greatest test before the official games in Milan. The World Cup is really in a year from now. Nobody is thinking about that, but having a game against Serbia, do-or-die game, is the best way to prepare yourself for the official games. We're starting against Croatia. We're playing against Italy the second day, and we have three, let's say, easier games against Great Britain, Ukraine, and Estonia before going in Berlin for the knockout games. So that game in Belgrade is huge for everybody. I mean, it's not that huge for Giannis, but I think he will want to send a message to everybody. I mean, having Jokic on the other side is is always motivating you. So we will see. We will see.
Yeah, and as we know, I mean, those two actually get along pretty well compared to some other superstars in the league where Giannis
Yeah.
really gets competitive. But I'm sure that he's going to want to make a statement. As you said, I've got plenty of more questions about the Greek national team. First, I want to talk about Bet Online. As I mentioned, sponsoring this podcast today, it's the fastest and easiest way to check in on all your betting needs. Find all your favorite sports and events at the #1 online source for odds, lines, and games. Harris, if do you feel more comfortable or more confident about Giannis winning the MVP this season or Giannis winning the Defensive Player of the Year this season?
Good question. I don't have an answer, but Giannis is on his prime right now, so every season will start with him being the favorite for the MVP and for the Defensive Player of the Season. I voted about him during the previous season, both for MVP and for the Defensive Player. I don't know. We will see. I mean, he's always there at the discussion.
He is. And I figure that he will be again. And if you want to check out those odds, you can do that. They're all up there, all the NBA futures at betonline.net. There's Major League Baseball, NFL, really close. NHL will be back before we know it. MMA, all the other sports are there. So head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to learn more about the action happening today. That's BetOnline, where the game starts. So this squad just recently has been cut down a little bit. One of the brothers didn't make it. The Wisconsin Herd's Alex Antetokounmpo. Was this a surprise?
No, it wasn't a surprise. I mean, it wasn't a surprise watching his name being called for that training camp. I mean, there were a couple better players, but it's easier to cut Alex after a week of practice than another player with a better career. It was a good opportunity for Alex to play and train next to players like Giannis, like Kalathis, Lucas, Papagiannis. No, Papagiannis is injured right now, but you get the meaning. He will be working for the next weeks. I think the opportunity for him is in Oscos with the Wisconsin Herd. He hasn't played a lot during the last couple of seasons. He needs time to mature, so we will see.
What has Giannis been saying about the FIBA game in particular? I don't know whether he's spoken about this a lot, but there's so often talk about the different rules that come with the FIBA game. But I think another important thing to note with someone like Giannis is just smaller court, smaller 3-point line, defensive 3 seconds is not a thing. So no matter what happens, there is going to be 5 bodies within the perimeter. He saw this at the last World Cup. So has he spoken about this at all? And if he hasn't, what do you see from Giannis in terms of how this team can help him and what he may have learned from the previous World Cup?
As you said, it's all about the shooters in FIBA basketball. Every team will build a wall to stop Giannis. And, it's not easy to see Giannis scoring 30 points in a Eurobasket game. But he might score 30 points. But the shooters have to make the shots. When Giannis is double team or triple team and passes in the perimeter, we have to score the 3 points. We don't have great shooters right now. Tyler Dorsey is really critical on that team. Tyler Dorsey is a two-way player for Dallas Mavericks. Giannis is trying to understand the officiating, the way the referees officiating the games. You might remember during the World Cup, the game against Czech Republic, he was fouled out. And at least, if I remember well, 3 of his 5 fouls were, okay, let's say...
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you have to protect Giannis. Even if you're his coach, even if you're the referees, you have to protect him. So he's trying to understand the way the referees officiating right now. I know he never forgot about that game against Czech Republic. So we will see. We had a couple of referees in the last practice. They were trying to explain to the players what they will witness in Milan and Berlin. So the team looks at least prepared for that games. But we will see. We will see.
We see this all the time here in the NBL and the Australian Basketball League. Big men that come from America that maybe were playing in the G League, maybe they were on the fringe of the NBA. They are absolute foul machines in the FIBA game. So it's nothing new for big men, but I think it's a good point you make that if you haven't watched a lot of FIBA basketball, you're going to probably be frustrated with the officiating and frustrated that Giannis can't be the normal dominant player as easily as he does in the NBA, which sounds crazy to say. But he made the point, and I think it was another one of your tweets, that when you're playing for a national team, the Greek national team can't build a team around Giannis. They have what they have, and Giannis has to figure out how he best fits this team. You mentioned an injury for Papagiannis. I don't know the extent of that injury or when they think he's going to play, but do you see Giannis spending a lot of time playing at the 5? Because I know that was something he mentioned as well.
Yeah, Giannis playing at the 5 sounds logical. Let's start with Papagiannis. He's injured right now. We don't know if he will be available for the Eurobasket. We will have an update after the Acropolis tournament. It's 10 days from now. So if Papagiannis doesn't play, this will be a huge hit for us. If Papagiannis doesn't play, Giannis will have to spend a lot of time at the 5 with Kostas as his backup. This is not really bad in my opinion, because Giannis might be better as a 5 in FIBA basketball. You will have a chance to have another guy around you who can shoot the ball. So we will see. These games, the next 5 games, Papagiannis is not playing in the first 5 friendly games. So it will be interesting to see how Coach Itoudis will use Giannis and which guys will finish the games around Giannis. It's more important who are the 4 guys finishing the game around Giannis than who are the 4 guys who are starting the game. I think Lucas, Kalathis, Dorsey, and Papanikolaou or Papapetru will be the other 4 guys around him. But we will see in the next 5 games if Giannis plays in all 5 games, of course.
So who am I missing here? So I was just looking through the list in terms of NBA players or former NBA players that are in this squad. So obviously Papagiannis we've mentioned, and we know Giannis, Thanasis, Kostas, Papanikolaou you mentioned. I remember watching him play for Houston for quite a while. Nick Kalathis, I think most NBA fans or basketball fans would be well aware there, and Tyler Dorsey you mentioned as well. Am I forgetting anyone from that list?
No. Papagiannis, Papanikolaou, Kalathis, Giannis, and Thanasis are the 5 guys with NBA experience. And we forgot about Thanasis, who is really great in these practices, in this training camp. Thanasis is another guy in the NBA. I mean, everybody's athletic, everybody's strong and fast in the NBA, but he's really useful on that team. He's the most energetic guy. He's fast. He's jumping all the time, every time, all the time. So he will be really valuable on that team, probably playing at the 4 position.
So if, again, projecting ahead, so if Thanasis you think maybe slots into that 4 spot, I'm sure he'll play some 3 as well. Is he a projected starter? Who's going to start for this team if everyone's healthy?
That's a good question. I think if everybody's healthy, Kalathis, Dorsey, Papanikolaou, Giannis, and Papagiannis will be the starting 5. But you have Lucas as the 6th man. You have Thanasis. You have Papapetru. You have a lot of options for the bench. But again, it's a good conversation who's going to be in the starting 5. But it's better to finish the game. I mean, it's more important who are the 5 guys who will finish the games than starting the games. So I think Kalathis, Lucas, Dorsey, probably Papapetrou, Thanasis, and Giannis will finish the games. I don't see Papa Giannis finishing the game, for example.
Yeah, it's like the Bucks. We spent so much time talking about who's going to be the fifth starter, and ultimately, it probably doesn't matter. It's who's going to be playing next to Giannis if he's playing at the 5 at the end of the game, right? Okay.
Exactly.
Another name that was interesting to me that I was just learning new facts here. Kalaitzakis. There's a Kalaitzakis, but it's not our guy. It's not your guys. I didn't even know this man was a twin.
Yeah, it's not your guy. I mean, it's not the Bucks guy. It's his brother. When I was in Milwaukee during the last season, I told Yorgos, you should tell Panayotis, go dressed and go on the bench. Nobody will understand. It's not Yorgos, it's Panayotis. Panayotis was playing in Lithuania during the last couple of seasons. He's in great shape. He got a nice contract with Panathinaikos. I'm not sure he will be cut from the team. As we said, we have 2 official games before the Eurobasket, so it might go with 14, 15 guys until the very last moment. So Kalaitzakis might have a chance of being in the roster for the Eurobasket. Yorgos is working out during that time. He also went back to Panathinaikos after the season in Milwaukee and Oklahoma. He's in great shape. His body is really different than 1 year ago. We have a couple of young guys, and the Kalaitzakis brothers are definitely 2 of the best young guys in Greece right now.
I want to ask about Josh Oppenheimer. This was really fascinating to me when this came out. And like I think I mentioned it on this podcast, I said it's honestly kind of not that surprising that the Bucks, they always send staff over to Greece to work out with Giannis, but the actual arrangement for him to join the coaching staff, how did this happen? How did this play out? Is it as simple as Giannis just saying, I want that guy with me? How did this work out?
It's a combination. I mean, Coach Itoudis met Josh Oppenheimer like a month ago. He told him he has 2 open spots in the training staff. So he asked him if he wants to come. Giannis and Thanasis told me that the good thing about having Josh on that training camp is that they are keeping their routine from Milwaukee. They're working with him. I mean, not only during the practices. So Josh is giving a different vision to the other coaches, to the European coaches. Lots of people doesn't know that Josh was a point guard who played in Israel, so he knows the FIBA basketball. He knows Giannis. He knows Thanasis better than everybody. So having him in the training staff, it's really valuable in my opinion. But I think it's a combination of things. Itoudis wants him, Giannis wants him, Thanasis wants him. So everybody's. It's a win-win situation for everybody right now.
You mentioned it earlier on in the podcast that once you get to Eurobasket, all these teams are really competitive. All these teams are really good. What is the realistic expectation from just simply your point of view? Not what the team's saying. What are you expecting? Or I know you hope for certain things, but what's realistic?
I will be honest with you. I don't see Giannis coming and having a goal of going in the quarterfinals. I mean, he's coming to get the trophy. It's not easy. It's very difficult. But the crucial game is the quarterfinal. We will have to face probably France or Slovenia. So Gobert or Doncic will be on the other side. This is the most crucial game of the tournament. We have how many? 12, 13 games until that game. So if you get past the quarterfinals, you have 2 chances for the medal. Even if you lose in the semifinal, you will have another opportunity to get the bronze. So it's one game. In my opinion, this team has to go and win it all. At least they have to go in Italy with that mentality. But it's not easy, as I said. everybody will want to defeat Giannis, as everybody will want to defeat Luka, Jokic, Gobert, all these NBA superstars. This will be tough, but in my opinion, we have to go in Milan with that mentality to win it all.
Yeah, European basketball right now is just absolutely nuts. And by the way, you know that I was going to bring up Australia again. So the task for Greece is that at the Olympics, Australia never won a medal before. They come up against Slovenia and Luka in the Olympics. They beat them. They stopped Luka from getting a medal. So now Giannis has to stop Luka as well in a international tournament. That would be awesome. So those are the two teams that are in your path for the quarterfinal. Overall, are there other nations that stand out to you as the biggest challenges?
Of course, Serbia. Serbia is great. They have an old school coach, Svetislav Pesic. I'm not really optimistic about the chemistry of Serbia. But, you know, it's Serbia, and they have Nikola Jokic. So this will be a tough matchup for everybody. France will be strong. They have Gobert, of course. No 3 seconds in FIBA basketball, so Gobert standing in the middle of the paint will be tough for everybody. Slovenia will be great. Italy might be a good team. I think Germany will be a great team too, because they're playing the first phase in Cologne and the final phase in the knockout games in Berlin. So they will have the home court. They have Dennis Schroeder, who is a free agent, and he's really motivated. They have the Wagner brothers. They have Daniel Theis. They have a great team. They will be a tough team. I mean, they will be a tough team like Australia. And having a home court might be huge for them. But yes, Czech Republic is a great team with Satoransky and Vesely. So many teams. I mean, you can see like 8 teams going at least for the semifinals and for a medal. But our path is the most difficult, because we will have to face Slovenia, France in the quarterfinals. Okay, we will see. We will see how that goes.
It's going to be really fun. I told you this is like the reverse of the NBA season. So all these games for me are going to be at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, whatever time it is. But let's be honest. Basketball fans in Greece deserve to watch basketball, and they deserve to watch Giannis at a normal time, because you guys watch it at the most ridiculous times. How many times have you been to Milwaukee now? You've been quite a few times.
Yeah, 5, 6 times, something like that. I mean, 5, 6 times.
And have you seen, I mentioned this on a podcast earlier, have you seen Nick Monroe lurking around? And if he's not taking photos, is he just eating the whole time? Because his Instagram is nothing. His Instagram is nothing but food. I'm extremely jealous. He is doing some work, right?
Nick is the best. I mean, everybody in Milwaukee is great. I think that's why Giannis loves being there. I mean, he enjoys that organization. It's more like a family than a real team. The place is great. I love it. You spend a year there. It's too cold. You can say that, I think.
Yes.
But it's really quiet, and it's really calm. And I think the city deserves to have another opportunity for the championship, probably next season. We will see.
Certainly hope so. I hope to be there next time. I haven't been back to Milwaukee since the start of the pandemic. It's been a long time. Last question for you.
Yep.
Just you personally, as you said, you've watched every game Giannis has played. You've covered him multiple times live, but it's different when he's playing for Greece. So just for you personally, you're going to be covering all these games. I believe you're going to be traveling around. How excited are you right now for the next month?
You can imagine. It gives me chills every time. Thinking about that trip, about the trip in Eurobasket. I can't really sleep during the night for the last couple of weeks. I'm really excited. I mean, having watched every game, every Giannis game during his career in the NBA makes me feel, how can I say that, more than excited about that Eurobasket. I mean, This is a great opportunity for Greek basketball. This is a great opportunity for the Greek team. If Papagiannis is healthy, I'm not going to. We will see. We will see. Let's hope for the best. Let's hope for the best.
That's the right answer. You can't get too excited too early. That's what I always say as well. But you're going to have all the Milwaukee Bucks fans behind Greece in this tournament. And I've mentioned it before, but I do this podcast. We always hear from Greek fans. They give great feedback. They tell me when I'm wrong, which I appreciate. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think everyone's just excited and ready to watch basketball again, and particularly watch Giannis and the brothers and the rest of the Greek national team out there. So I appreciate you taking the time. It's fun to have you on here. I know you're going to be traveling. I know you're going to be super busy, but maybe after the tournament, when things settle down, we can get you back on and hear about your travels, your journeys, and everything else. No problem, Harris.
Thank you, Ken. Bye-bye.
Make sure you follow Harris, I should say, Harris_Stavrou on Twitter there, and he's got you covered with all the quotes, all the videos, all the tweets, and everything else, and how you can watch these games. So make sure you do that. We'll be back tomorrow. Take it easy. We'll speak to you guys then.